Today we're driving the all-new 2022 Honda Civic. Today we're in a top-of-the-line touring trim, and we can show you guys all the new features as well as the Bose sound system that is a first for the Honda Civic, which is very exciting. Honda has gone through and redesigned just about everything in this car. It is an all-new car for 2022. You can see they've gone with a much more modern, simple, minimalist interior layout. This dash, this single honeycomb grille covering the vents, all of your knobs and switches and buttons. Everything is new in this new Civic, and it looks really good and feels really nice. This drives a little bit more like the Honda Accord. It's feeling a little bit more grown up and mature, and I like it. It's longer, lower, wider, faster. This makes 180 horsepower, 177 pound-feet of torque with a 1.5-liter turbo, which we have today. That's available in the EX and Touring trims. All Civics come with their continuously variable transmission. Let's walk you around this new Civic, show you what it's like inside and out. We'll take it for a drive, and then we'll end with a Bose sound system test, which I'm very excited to share with you guys because it's a very nice sound system. So the first thing to talk about with this new Civic is just the design. They've gone through and redone just about everything. The old Civic had a more swoopy, wedge-shaped design, and this is a little bit more traditional looking. It's kind of conservative. It may be a little bit more plain compared to some of Honda's recent designs, especially with the Civic Type R and the Civic hatch, but I think this is a good direction for Honda to go in building their cars and design language going forward. We still have a really nice amount of trunk space in the back, pretty big opening, spare tire back there too. Rear seats fold down in a 60-40 split. New logo there, and a lot of rear seat room. Look at this space. Plenty of space under the front seats to put my feet. At 5'10", I am very comfortable back here. I can stretch out easily. Love this door panel design. We get 2 USB Type A ports back here. Nice armrest. I will say the materials and the fit and finish and feel of this new interior are just fantastic. I love the design. I love the swooping dash with the honeycomb grille covering the vents. It's a very clean look. You can see this shifter is just angled a little bit towards the driver to improve ergonomics. And Honda's gone through and done a lot of work to make this car easy to use, easy to drive, and simple and less complicated. And I really commend them on that effort, because I think that's very important with modern cars, with all this technology that we're packing into them, to make them easier and safer to drive and less distracting. Let's take a look under the hood at this 1.5-liter turbo. So like I mentioned earlier, this makes 180 horsepower, 177 pound-feet of torque. It's rated for 31 mpg in the city, 38 on the highway, and 34 combined. Knowing this 1.5 turbo, you shouldn't have any problem achieving or beating those numbers, especially on the highway. These are very efficient engines, and this updated motor feels really good. Very torquey, a lot of power, no complaints in terms of performance. All right, let's take a look at this inside. So we've got a fully digital gauge cluster here. We can see who is seated on the inside of the car, whether they're belted up. We've got our track selection over here for Apple CarPlay. And then a neat little Easter egg is every input that you do to your car, whether it's braking, whether it's got a turn signal on, the headlights are on, that's all visualized right there in the middle. And I kind of like that. When you have radar-guided cruise control going, or lane keep going, you can see exactly what the car is doing and what the systems see. So it'll actually show you a visualization of other vehicles around you, kind of like how Tesla does, where there's a motorcycle or there's a truck or there are other vehicles around you, and how the systems are interacting with that. This new Honda Sensing is a very well-calibrated driving system. They've done a fantastic job because it's the best Honda Sensing system I've used in any new Honda. One of the first things I noticed getting into this new Civic is that it makes some fun little noises. When you increase the brightness or decrease the brightness of your gauge cluster, it makes these little noises, almost like Gran Turismo menu selection. Or if you change the drive modes, that's fun, that's cool. It has 3 drive modes: Eco, Normal, and Sport. Eco, of course, is catered toward more economical driving. It adjusts the air conditioning so it uses less power and energy. Normal is just a nicely balanced setting, and Sport keeps your revs at 2,000 RPM or higher for instant response and instant power. And I will say, this CVT is fantastic. It's one of the best CVTs in the market. It's responsive. It doesn't need to rev too much to get you going. It works really well with this turbocharged 1.5 liter. No complaints. You even get paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel, and we had this on some back roads this week. It was pretty fun to drive. The handling, the dynamics of this new Civic are much improved. We have multi-link rear suspension, McPherson strut suspension up front. This is the new 9-inch infotainment display. As you can see here, we have hard buttons to quickly control and access different things. We've got your volume and audio, an actual physical slider, which is great. Track selection right underneath. Excellent choice in ergonomics there. Apple CarPlay. It's also available as wireless Apple CarPlay Android Auto, all that good stuff. A really nice, clear, high-resolution, beautifully colored display. No complaints there. I like that it has a home button. That's awesome. Lots of different menus. Not too much really changed here compared to a lot of other infotainments from Honda, but I think it's a pretty nice infotainment. It looks good. These 9-inch screens come in the top 2 trims, the EX and the Limited, and you get a 7-inch screen in the lower trims. I love these climate control knobs. Just the click of them, and the resistance feels really nice. I can tell Honda did a lot of work and a lot of testing with that to make it feel right. All the buttons seem to have a nice resistance to them. I like the way the shifter feels. We've got a pretty similar reverse camera to what we've had in a lot of other Hondas. It looks pretty good. It's a little bit wide angle and distorted, but it shows you a really nice, almost 180-degree view around you. You've got your electronic parking brake down here, a couple of cup holders, a little bit of storage space right here. You've got this other holder. You've got a nice, soft, grippy rubber pad at the bottom so stuff doesn't fly around too much. Here's what the key looks like. Nice looking rounded design. Kind of cool, a little bit different from before. You pop the trunk, lock, unlock, and remote start. You've got a couple USB ports right here, one to plug in for Apple CarPlay, one to plug in to charge, and of course you've got wireless charging, and you can run wireless Apple CarPlay and all that stuff. I like to run wired just so the audio quality comes in a little bit better. Heated seats, super simple controls all throughout. The ergonomics in here are just awesome. I love how cruise control works. Everything interacts beautifully. Front 2 windows are auto up and down, and you've got your Honda sensing controls right here so you can easily and quickly turn stuff off like collision mitigation braking, low speed braking, blind spot departure, and lane keep assist. Super easy to adjust stuff in this infotainment. You can see a bunch of different displays on the left here, and you can customize this display to show you just about whatever you want, which I think is great. All right, let's take this new Civic for a drive and see what it's like on the road, because that's kind of what this is all about. The first thing I really like about driving this new Civic is just the visibility. Look at this greenhouse. This is something that we would get in a car maybe 10 or 15 years ago, and these pillars just have been creeping up on us and impeding our line of sight. Honda did a lot of work to make this car have excellent visibility. I think one reason why a lot of people are buying SUVs these days is to get that extra visibility in that higher driving position, because people just can't see out of their small cars anymore. Well, this new Honda Civic changes that, and it has a really nice greenhouse. Very thin A-pillar, excellent visibility throughout the cabin from the side and out of the rear. No complaints with that. It's awesome. Really, really nice. I like to see other manufacturers work to improve the greenhouse in their cars as well. All of my inputs feel really nicely weighted. I like the steering wheel. I like the material on the steering wheel. The leather's very nice and luxurious. The steering has a good amount of feel and weight to it. Of course, the 18-inch wheels help with that quite a bit. Ride quality and body control is excellent. It's a little bit on the stiffer side, but it's a really nice ride handling balance. The performance and the handling and the responsiveness of this new Civic is definitely taking things to another level. And I do really like this powertrain. Like I said earlier, this 1.5 liter turbo mated with a CVT is surprisingly quick and torquey. It feels like a little bit more than 180 horsepower. It feels more like around 200 or so. It's a very nice power level, and the responsiveness is quite refreshing, at least for a CVT. My wife's Mazda CX-30, which I think is the best Bose on the market right now. Some Bose sound systems are okay. They do all right, you know, no highs, no lows, must be Bose. But this one blows the rest out of the water. This and the CX-30, I think, have the best sound systems in the class, bar none. Nothing else really even comes close in terms of quality with the rest of these sedans out there. On the highway, very comfortable, very quiet. We've got not a lot of wind noise. Honda's done a lot of work to improve the NVH in this car. We do have quite a bit of tire noise. I think over expansion joints, over some potholes, these 18s transmit just a little bit more road noise than I would like. Speaking of what I would like, I would be nice to have the option in some of these cars to get 17-inch wheels instead of 18-inch wheels, and have your wheel size not necessarily dependent on the trim that you get. This is a touring model. It's supposed to be more luxurious. I wouldn't mind having a smaller wheel package. Typical Honda fashion, you just have to kind of go and drive one of these cars to appreciate how well they drive and how nice they are to wheel around in daily conditions. I mean, the new Accord is my favorite midsize sedan, and this drives very similar to that new Accord, just refined a little bit, feels a little bit smaller. Very impressed with this new Civic. We've got some cool new safety stuff too. This has Honda's updated passenger airbag that kind of is like a catcher-mitt style that will deflect head rotation in an event of a crash. And the front driver airbag is also a little bit more of kind of a pocket style that improves head deflection in front-end collisions. So that's one thing I really like about Honda, is their philosophy is safety for everyone. They've been making very safe cars for a long time, and that translates into all of their models. When you're just driving normally, this engine never really has to rev over 3,000 RPM. It's quiet, it's smooth, there's not a lot of vibration. Let's go into eco mode. I'm going to feel that dull the throttle response just a little bit. This new Civic has a much more grown-up feel. It feels a little bit wider, it feels a little bit longer. The wheelbase just kind of feels pushed out to the corners, and that's exactly what they've done. I think it's about 1.4 inches longer, a little bit wider track. Let's do a quick 0 to 60 here. All right, so off the line. Great acceleration from a dig. And we're up to 60 miles an hour. Of course, we only get a digital speedometer here. Quick braking test. Why not? Feels good, feels good. Let's go and shift into the paddle mode. So it'll hold your RPM and mimic gears just like a traditional automatic. And on a back road, the paddle paddle shifters are actually pretty fun. It'll auto upshift for you, and it's pretty convincing. I like it. You get a lot of deceleration off throttle when downshifting, in sport mode at least. I really love how easy everything is to operate in this car without having to look at what you're doing. You can change these drive modes so easily. You can just go down, feel that switch. We don't have buttons for gear selection in the transmission. You just have this traditional transmission stick. It's easy to use. The cruise control buttons, everything right here, I know exactly where it is. It's intuitively placed. Let's go back into sport mode. Hit an entrance ramp here. Turn-in is really sharp. Lots of mechanical grip. Very neutral. Just a hint of safe understeer, but really a lot of capability from this chassis. I can't get over these drive mode selection sounds. There's got to be something from Gran Turismo in there, or very close, that the systems know what's going on around you and have a greater intelligence than maybe some previous systems. Lane following does a really nice job keeping you centered. On Honda, they've done a really nice job calibrating this. It will ask you for steering input every, 15, 20 seconds or so. Put your turn signal on. It won't auto change lanes, but it'll kind of open you up to change lanes without any intervention. We have a good amount of acceleration around slower vehicles with radar cruise enabled. You can skip 5-mile-an-hour increments. If you go to a lower speed, it'll decelerate pretty quickly. Sometimes it'll even hit the brakes, and you'll see that visualized right here on the display, which I think is really cool. As we're approaching all of these other cars, you can see that they're coming up on this display right there. How cool is that? Blind spot monitoring will show us where they are. We have a really wide angle mirror on the passenger side, which I think is pretty cool. I do like the shape of these mirrors. They look nice. There's probably some aerodynamic reasoning for their shape, but I think it's a cool kind of teardrop shape to look out of too. I mean, this thing basically drives itself on the highway. It's a very nice system. Stays perfectly centered, no wandering around. Keeps a good distance from vehicles in front of you. You can easily change your following distance, turn on and off. Guys, I can't wait to drive the Civic Si and Type R variants of this new Civic. This chassis, the handling, the level of refinement here is a really big improvement from the previous generation. So, how can we sum up the new 2022 Honda Civic? I think we've pretty much said it all on this. There's improvements in virtually every regard and facet and corner and nook and cranny of this car. There's a lot of stuff going on that you can't see with the chassis, a lot of stiffening, a lot of strengthening. We've got an aluminum subframe, lighter body panels. Just a lot has really been done to improve the Civic in every measurable and immeasurable way. This is a really a full redesign of their new car that's probably going to last them another 8 to 10 years in this new production cycle. So Honda's doing really good work these days. They've got a fantastic engineering team. I love some of the design directions they've been going recently with their new lineup. I like this interior. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Honda E, the electric car over in Europe, with this simple lines on the dashboard, the single grille all the way across. I think this would be a great first car, a really nice vehicle to live with on a daily basis. If I had any complaints, it would be, I think these 18-inch wheels transmit a little bit too much road noise, a over bumps and expansion joints. I can tell that they've done a lot of work to quiet down this interior, and these wheels and tires, they are a little bit loud sometimes. The solution to that would be to get a set of 17s. It'd be nice for Honda to offer that as an option in the touring trim instead of just in the EX. You get 16s in the base model. Those are going to be quiet as can be, but I think really the sweet spot for this Civic is going to be the Sport model or the EX trim. If you want this 1.5 liter turbo, EX is going to be a great option. You save a little bit of money. But if you really want to swing for the sound system, the Bose, you got to go with the touring, and it's about 29 grand, 28 before destination. And I think if you could swing it, it's worth it, especially if you appreciate good quality interior audio. So let's walk you around this new Civic one more time. We'll show you guys what it looks like, and then we'll go straight into our sound system test. Looks like my gate is closed, so we'll just park right here for a second. This new color is pretty wild too. This is called Morning Mist. Very appropriate for the filming time today. It's got this almost gold metallic sheen to it too. It's a pretty nice looking color in the sunlight. They've also got a red that really pops. All right, let's listen to this Bose sound system. Really excited to share this with you guys. We've got Centerpoint 2 technology. Go into Apple CarPlay, find our music. It's just such a full, rich sound system. Super clear. Here's center point off. I don't really know what I prefer, whether center point on or off. Just awesome. Really impressive sound system. This is as good, if not just slightly better, than the CX-30s, which I think is one of the best Bose sound systems on the market. This apparently has rear tweeters, whereas the CX-30 doesn't. So for the rear passengers, it's a better listening experience. We gotta listen to pink mirrors too. Yeah. Alright guys, there's a sound system test of the new Bose in the Honda Civic. No complaints, it's awesome. I can't really decide whether I like center point on or off. It sounds great with either option checked, so kind of up to personal preference. Really, really nice car from Honda. They've outdone themselves with this whole package, with the design, the trims, the packaging, the feel, the fit, the finish of everything. Definitely takes the Civic to the new level, and excited to see what comes out with the SI and Type R variants, because I think this is a really, really nice standard car to build a performance vehicle from. As it is, this is a really nice daily driver. I think it'd be a fantastic choice for anyone who needs a car under $30,000. It's hard to beat this these days. The looks are a little bit more conservative and simple and minimal. I think that'll appeal to a few more buyers than maybe some of the more hard-edged, angular lines of the previous generation Civic. We'll see, time will tell, but I think this is a car that will age well. It's excellent to drive. The audio system is just amazing in this touring trim. So anyway guys, those are my thoughts on the new Civic. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the next video. We'll also be having some other videos on this on the Winding Road Magazine YouTube channel.